Caleb remained motionless for a moment before asking why he was feigning sleep. Liam denied it, explaining that his eyes were just tired from his phone. Caleb silently pulled the covers over himself, lay down, and closed his eyes, telling Liam he wasn't allowed to use his phone tomorrow. Liam, finding the command absurd, chose not to argue. He nudged Caleb's arm, reminding him that he still hadn't answered his question. Caleb, without opening his eyes, asked what question he meant. Liam pressed him about the kiss, pointing out the contradiction in his stories. Caleb turned his head, his gaze steady, and asked if it truly mattered to him. Liam faltered, admitting with some discomfort that it wasn't a big deal, but Caleb's conflicting statements made him wonder if he was being deceived. Caleb's response was flat, a dry remark about selling him off tomorrow. Seeing the conversation was going nowhere, Liam grew sullen. He then complained about Caleb having messed with him earlier, demanding to know why. Caleb stated he was worried Liam would be too warm under the blankets. Liam grumbled, expressing a new concern that Caleb might get restless in the middle of the night. Caleb's expression was unreadable as he conceded it was a possibility. Liam, trying to establish a boundary, declared that any future kisses would cost him. Caleb inquired about the price. Liam, after a moment's thought, blurted out $1,000. He then reconsidered, feeling he'd undervalued himself, and amended the price to $2,000. Caleb commented that it was a bit expensive. Liam felt a flicker of triumph, thinking the price would be a deterrent. His satisfaction was short-lived. Caleb calmly stated that after a quick mental calculation, his finances could cover kissing him well into the next life. Liam fell asleep feeling resentful, waking only when the pale morning light filtered into the room. Caleb was still asleep, their foreheads nearly touching, his breath ghosting along Liam's jaw. Liam, still hazy with sleep, tried to shift away but froze. Caleb's hand was resting firmly on his hip, fingers curled slightly against his lower back. A jolt went through him and he sat bolt upright. The sudden movement startled Caleb awake. He blinked, asking what was wrong. Liam demanded to know why Caleb was touching him in his sleep. Caleb paused, then replied with a lazy drawl that he hadn't been aware of it, having been asleep. Liam eyed him with suspicion, wondering if it had been unintentional. Caleb threw back the covers and got out of bed, asking if he wanted to go out later. Liam nodded. Caleb told him to get some more rest. He had to handle some work in the morning but would take him to lunch, and they could spend the afternoon together before he had to head back to campus for classes the next day. But sleep eluded Liam. After Caleb left, he tossed and turned before finally grabbing his phone to text his friend, Sam. He sent a frantic message about a terrifying discovery. Sam replied almost instantly, demanding to know what happened. Liam explained the situation. Sam's response was blunt, questioning why he was so shocked when he'd been sharing a bed with Caleb for years. Liam argued that there was a difference between just sharing a bed and this. Sam was unconvinced, asking why one part of him was off-limits if the rest was fine. The question gave Liam pause. Sam then pushed further, suggesting this might not be the first time, and perhaps Liam had just never noticed before. The thought was more unsettling than the initial discovery. He tried to recall past mornings. Caleb's arms were usually around his waist, but now he wasn't so sure. The realization sent a strange chill through him. A series of memories, once innocuous, now seemed colored with a new, confusing light. The way Caleb would bury his face in the crook of Liam's neck as he slept. The way he'd absent-mindedly run his fingers through his hair or gently pinch his cheek. Caleb disliked sweets but always knew which bakery made the best cheesecake. He was notoriously frugal yet never hesitated to take Liam to expensive restaurants. The contradictions of the man were baffling. Sam's texts became more urgent, telling him to be careful, that guys needed to protect themselves too. Liam found himself defending Caleb, saying he was actually a good person, maybe it was just an accident. Sam scoffed, asking what kind of good person randomly groped their friends. What if next time Caleb accidentally did more? Liam was certain that wouldn't happen. Caleb liked someone else. This information only enraged Sam more, who declared Caleb a scumbag. Liam felt more lost than ever. He needed to find Caleb, who had mentioned a meeting in the third-floor conference room. When he got there, the door was closed, and he could hear the low murmur of voices from within. He went back down to the first-floor lobby to wait. From the third-floor window, a man watched Liam wander the lobby before settling onto a bar stool, legs swinging as he scrolled through his phone. He turned to Caleb with a knowing smile, asking if the boy downstairs was the reason he never came home anymore. Caleb's reply was devoid of emotion, stating it was none of his business. The man, Marcus, shook his head, Caleb that his sour attitude would leave him alone. He then changed the subject, mentioning he'd heard Caleb had gotten into a fight with someone named Chung Dong. Caleb said the man had brought it on himself. Marcus advised him to be the bigger person, as Chung Dong was known for being simple-minded. Caleb's response was cold. Tell him to get out of his city and stop bothering him. A short while later, the elevator chimed, and Liam looked up to see Caleb emerge. He hopped off the stool, a smile on his face, but it faltered when he saw another man following Caleb. The man bore a resemblance to Caleb but carried himself with a more refined air, his smile easy and warm. He extended a hand to Liam, introducing himself as Caleb's older brother, Marcus. Before Liam could properly shake his hand, Caleb grabbed his wrist, telling Marcus to leave if he had no other business. As Caleb pulled him toward the exit, Marcus called out to Liam, offering to tell him a secret. Liam paused, confused. A sense of dread washed over Caleb, but it was too late. Marcus smiled faintly and said, "He's in love with you." The world seemed to grind to a halt. Liam's mind went blank, a thick fog preventing any coherent thought. Only Marcus's words, "He's in love with you," echoed in his ears. He was numbly pulled out of the hotel lobby by Caleb. Stumbling to a halt on the sidewalk, he finally managed to ask who Marcus had been talking about. Caleb stopped, turning to face him. His grip on Liam's wrist was tight, but his face was an unreadable mask. He took a step closer, his eyes locked on Liam's, and asked who he thought. Liam's heart began to pound against his ribs, a frantic, heavy rhythm. A wave of heat washed over his face, making his head spin. He didn't understand what was happening, only that he felt a sudden, overwhelming panic. He yanked his hand free. Caleb's empty hand twitched at his side, and the intensity in his eyes seemed to dim. He shoved his hands into his pockets and said evenly that he was also fond of their housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, and even Kevin, their driver. He asked if Liam had a problem with that. The pounding in Liam's chest slowly subsided. He asked, bewildered, if that was the kind of love Marcus had meant. Caleb turned and started walking away, tossing over his shoulder a question about what other kind there was. Liam, utterly confused, hurried to catch up, asking why his brother would call it a secret. Caleb dismissed it as Marcus being dramatic. Liam studied his profile, noting the tense set of his jaw, and asked if he was angry. Caleb denied it, but Liam observed that he looked to be in a terrible mood. Kevin was waiting with the car. Once inside, Caleb said nothing, simply staring out the window at the passing city. Liam mulled it over, concluding that his own shocked reaction must have offended Caleb. Liking friends and family was normal. His over-the-top response had probably embarrassed the notoriously private man. He decided to smooth things over, telling Caleb sincerely that he was very fond of him, too. The car screeched to a halt, throwing Liam against Caleb. Kevin apologized from the driver's seat, claiming his foot slipped. As he started driving again, Liam, still pressed against Caleb, asked what he had meant by no need. Kevin, his voice flat, clarified from the front seat, stating there was no need for Liam to like him. Only a cash bonus would suffice. Liam muttered quietly to Caleb about how Kevin seemed to love money even more than he did. Caleb retorted that he should go hug a bank. Then, Liam reluctantly pulled away, trying to coax a better mood out of him. Caleb's face remained a stone mask as he deadpanned that he was ecstatic. They went to a bustling downtown diner. Liam noticed Caleb was barely touching his burger and asked if he didn't like it. The word "like" seemed to make Caleb flinch. Liam dropped the subject, instead telling him that he was heading back to school that afternoon and that Caleb should try to get some real sleep. After a moment, he added that if he couldn't sleep, he should just go home early. Caleb's expression softened slightly, and he murmured an affirmation. Just then, a guy with bleached blonde hair approached their table, smiling at Liam and asking if he could get his number. Liam, his mouth full of fries, immediately glanced at Caleb, making muffled noises. The guy's face fell, assuming Caleb was his boyfriend. Liam quickly shook his head. The guy's smile returned, and he asked again for his number. Caleb silently picked up his glass of water and took a long drink. A flicker of irritation went through Liam. Caleb was always so controlling about who he talked to, yet now he was offering no help at all. He swallowed his food and said no. The guy persisted, suggesting they could just get to know each other. Liam deflected, telling him that Caleb said he wasn't allowed. The guy laughed, pointing out that Caleb wasn't his boyfriend, so he had no say. Liam, in a moment of panicked brilliance, declared that Caleb was his husband. The guy, abashed, apologized for interrupting and quickly left. The moment he was gone, Caleb started coughing violently, clutching his chest as if he were choking. Liam, alarmed, patted his back, asking if he was okay. It took a long moment for Caleb to recover, his eyes red from the effort. When he finally looked at Liam, there was an emotion in them Liam couldn't decipher. His voice was hoarse when he spoke. "I'm your husband?" A blush crept up Liam's neck. He defended his lie, saying it was Caleb's fault for just sitting there and watching. He stuffed more fries into his mouth, adding that Caleb shouldn't get the wrong idea. He didn't like men. He then mumbled as an afterthought that he meant like in a romantic way, not as friends. Caleb watched the way his cheeks puffed out as he chewed. He asked if Liam was so sure about that. Liam insisted he was, claiming he'd never liked a guy in his life. Caleb then asked if he'd ever liked a girl. Liam paused. He supposed he hadn't. Caleb pointed out that, by his own logic, he didn't seem to like anyone at all. The thought struck Liam as oddly plausible. Maybe he was just a cold, unfeeling person. But that didn't feel right either. He reasoned that perhaps he just hadn't met the right person yet. Caleb's voice was low when he asked how Liam could be certain it wouldn't be a man. Liam considered this with a grave expression, then wondered aloud if he should give the men who had asked him out a chance. Caleb's tone turned icy as he noted there seemed to have been quite a few. Liam looked down at his plate, admitting quietly that more guys had confessed to him than girls. He recalled a time in his freshman year when the class president from a neighboring dorm had confessed. Liam had told him he wasn't interested in men, but the guy had accused him of lying. The guy had always been helpful, bringing him meals and looking out for him more than his own RA had. Liam had thought he was just a really nice person. The phrase sounded familiar to Caleb. One afternoon, Liam continued, the guy had cornered him in the laundry room, insisting that Liam must like him back because he'd smiled at him several times. Caleb's brow furrowed. Liam, growing agitated by the memory, said he told the guy he wasn't interested, but he wouldn't listen. The guy got angry, calling him a liar. Annoyed and a little scared, Liam had shoved him, locked the laundry room door from the outside, and ran. After that, he avoided him, and if he did see him, he made sure not to smile. Caleb said nothing, but reached over and added a side of onion rings to Liam's plate. That evening, back at his dorm, Liam finished a group project well after midnight. He lay in bed, expecting to be exhausted, but his mind raced. He picked up his phone and opened the photo he'd taken of Caleb before he left that afternoon. Caleb looked unhappy in the picture, his gaze lifting to the camera just as Liam snapped it. His features were sharp, but the corners of his mouth were turned down. Liam had shown it to him, teasing that he looked like someone owed him a lot of money. Caleb had replied without missing a beat, asking if Liam didn't, in fact, owe him a lot of money. Liam had fallen silent at that. He sent a text. Can't sleep? The reply was almost immediate. Why are you still awake? Liam texted back that he must have caught Caleb's insomnia. He expected some form of apology, but Caleb's reply was that he'd probably just eaten too much. Liam was about to retort when another message came through, comparing him to a pig that could only eat and sleep. Liam fired back that pigs couldn't use smartphones, then tossed his phone aside and pulled the covers over his head. A moment later, he fumbled for the phone again. The last message from Caleb was on the screen. Get some sleep. Liam huffed softly before finally settling down for the night. On Tuesday morning, Liam was in class when his phone lit up. It was a message from Caleb. Lunch at the office. Liam's eyes widened. He typed back, asking if Caleb was coming back. Caleb confirmed he was. Liam, excited, added that he wanted cheesecake. The next message read that Caleb was on the plane and had to turn off his phone. Liam saw that the message had been delivered. He texted back, liar. The reply was a single word, busted. Liam only had one class that morning, so he headed straight to Caleb's office afterward. He arrived before Caleb and Kevin, settling onto the sofa in the office to review his notes. A sudden crash from the adjacent office, followed by a cleaning lady's cry of alarm, startled him. It was Kevin's office. Liam rushed over to find a glass vase shattered on the desk, water pooling around a stack of papers. The cleaning lady was frantically trying to salvage the documents, explaining that she'd just been trying to change the water. Liam helped her move the files. Most were saved, but a few were soaked. As the woman spread them out to dry, Liam helped her wipe down the desk. While clearing a space, his eyes fell on a black moleskine notebook with a label on the cover. The Liam Project. Curiosity piqued, he thought it might be about Caleb's insomnia. He opened it to the first page. The neat handwriting was clearly Caleb's. Note, he seems tired after I feign sleep. Only wake up after he is fully asleep. Key phrase, I haven't slept this well in a long time. Contact Dr. Evans, cancel appointment. Liam stared at the few lines, a sense of unease creeping over him. He turned the page. Plan B, accidental encounter outside campus library. Key phrase, I haven't slept in 3 days. If conversation stalls, mention something about a strange coincidence. And the next page. Plan C, campus encounter, present agreement. Key phrase, this seems to help me sleep. If he questions the 20-year term, call it a necessary evil. The sound of the elevator dinging pulled him from his trance. Caleb walked in, holding a small box from a well-known bakery. He saw Liam standing in Kevin's office, his back to the door, and tapped lightly on the frame, asking what he was doing in there. Liam clutched the notebook, turning around slowly. His eyes were red-rimmed. He opened his mouth, but his throat was tight. He managed to ask, his voice strained, "Caleb, were you ever really unable to sleep?" Kevin, having just come up from parking the car, saw the scene. Caleb frozen in the doorway holding a cake box. Liam standing by his desk with a familiar-looking notebook, glaring at Caleb with tear-filled eyes. Kevin's brain short-circuited for a moment before Caleb, without looking at him, told him to leave. Kevin immediately turned and walked away. Caleb stepped closer, gently taking the notebook from Liam's hands and flipping through the pages. Liam's nose stung, and he bit his lip, demanding to know if it had all been a lie. Caleb closed the notebook, his gaze dropping to the floor. "Yes," he said, his voice barely a whisper. The admission was a physical blow. Liam thought of all the times he'd worried, of the night he'd rushed to the hotel, only to be fooled by a few simple words. He felt like a fool, an idiot who had believed every ridiculous excuse, from a sentient pillow to a bizarre 20-year contract. He had even convinced himself that Caleb wasn't lying. His chest heaved, a mix of anger and hurt rising within him. "Was it fun, messing with me?" he asked, his voice trembling. Caleb slowly raised his hand, intending to touch his face, but Liam slapped it away. The force of the shove sent Caleb stumbling back a step. The white cake box fell from his grasp, splattering its contents across the polished floor in a pathetic, ruined heap. Caleb stared at the mess for a long moment before speaking, his voice hoarse. "Liam, I'm not that bored." He looked up, his eyes dark with an emotion Liam had never seen before. "I just wanted you to stay with me." He took a step forward, then another, backing Liam against the desk. "You keep asking who I like." His voice was low, a deep rumble that vibrated through Liam's chest. "Liam, no one holds their brother while they sleep." Liam's back hit the edge of the desk. Marcus's words echoed in his head, hot as lava. "He's in love with you." His breathing grew shallow. Caleb leaned closer. "When I said I've never kissed anyone else," he murmured, his voice a breath against Liam's ear, "it was true. And the person I like, it's never been anyone else." The deep cadence of his voice was hypnotic. "It's always been you. Only you." Warm lips pressed against his. For a moment, Liam's thoughts fractured. His hands gripped the edge of the desk as a memory from the hotel surfaced. Caleb, waking from a dream, leaning over him just like this. The same scent, the same presence. But then Caleb had claimed his mouth was just itchy. Liam shoved him away with all his strength. "Does liking someone give you the right to lie to them?" he shouted, his voice thick with tears. "I hate liars more than anything." Down in the lobby, Liam's father, holding a thermos, watched in confusion as his son burst out of the elevator and ran out of the building like a shot. Caleb stood at the floor-to-ceiling window of his office, watching Liam disappear into the crowd on the street below. He hadn't intended to use insomnia as a pretext from the start. The company had been going through a crisis, and he truly hadn't slept for days. The moment he saw Liam in the hospital, an overwhelming wave of exhaustion had washed over him. All he had wanted was to sleep peacefully by his side. From the time he was old enough to understand, Caleb knew he was the illegitimate son. The other kids mocked him, said he had no father. His mother would tell him stories, promising that his wealthy father would one day come for them, a fantasy she clung to year after year. But the man never came. Lost in her delusions, she paid little attention to Caleb. So he learned to skip school and get into fights, a lonely figure on the periphery of every group. In high school, things didn't change much, except that he now rode a bicycle to the town's central school. Until one morning, as he was sleeping at his desk, a boy carrying a stack of workbooks approached him, stammering that it was time to turn in the assignment. Caleb opened his eyes, annoyed, and saw a pale-skinned boy in a neatly pressed uniform. He was the type of student teachers loved. Not like Caleb, whose own uniform was rumpled and missing a button. He recognized him as the class representative, a boy named Liam. Caleb understood the stammer. Most kids in their class were either afraid of him or despised him. He turned his head and went back to sleep. After a moment, Liam asked why he wouldn't turn it in. Caleb replied that he'd burned it. The response seemed to stun Liam, who insisted it was a required assignment. Caleb simply said he was sleeping. A few minutes later, Caleb felt a poke on his shoulder. He looked up to see Liam holding out a brand new workbook. He explained that he'd gotten a spare one from the teacher and that Caleb should really try to complete it. He quietly advised him not to burn this one. Nosy, Caleb said coldly, telling him he didn't know how to do it. Liam seemed to have anticipated this. He produced a notebook from behind his back, his eyes bright, and offered it, saying his notes were very detailed. The cover of the notebook had a childish drawing of a floppy-eared dog. Caleb just wanted to sleep, but Liam persisted, muttering that the teacher would get mad if he didn't turn it in. Exasperated, Caleb asked what it mattered to him if the teacher yelled. Liam hesitated, then leaned in close and whispered, asking if Caleb secretly cried at his desk after being reprimanded. 2 seconds later, Caleb scribbled a few words on a piece of paper and slapped it down in front of Liam. The note read, "Go away before I make you cry." Liam finally left, muttering to himself. But he didn't give up entirely. Every so often, he would pause by Caleb's desk, looking like he wanted to say something but was too intimidated. One Wednesday afternoon, it rained, a light drizzle that was still falling when school let out. Caleb didn't care. He'd been through worse. He rode his bike into the misty rain, the cool droplets hitting his face. As he turned onto a tree-lined street, he saw the annoying class representative walking along the sidewalk, holding a large, deep blue umbrella. He looked like a walking mushroom. The mushroom turned its head, watching him as it walked. Caleb ignored him and sped up, passing him by. Then he heard a cry. He stopped and looked back. Liam was sitting on the wet pavement, his blue umbrella lying beside him. He was rubbing his leg. "Serves you right for not watching where you're going," Caleb thought. Liam looked up, their eyes meeting. After a moment of silence, Liam said quietly that it hurt a little. "I didn't ask," Caleb said flatly, and started to pedal away. A desperate voice called his name from behind. Caleb saw him disappear from view, and Liam, resigned, picked up his umbrella and blew on his scraped knee. Before he could stand up, a familiar bicycle bell rang, and Caleb was there, looking down at him. "Get on," he said. Liam's eyes lit up. He scrambled onto the back of the bike, holding his umbrella, and offered a shy thank you. As Caleb started pedaling, the large umbrella moved to cover both of their heads, shielding them from the rain. He took Liam to a nearby pharmacy, went in alone, and came out with antiseptic wipes and bandages, which he tossed into Liam's lap. Liam looked at the supplies, then back at Caleb, and asked if he was supposed to do it himself. Caleb retorted, asking if he didn't have hands. Liam pouted but sat on the steps, opened the antiseptic, and dabbed a cotton swab in it. He closed his eyes and winced, bringing the swab toward his knee but missing the scrape entirely. With a sigh, Caleb took the supplies from him and efficiently cleaned and bandaged the wound. When he was done, Liam said thank you again and automatically climbed back onto the bike. Caleb just stared at him. Liam, not understanding, earnestly recited his address. With a long-suffering look, Caleb got on and started riding. The next morning, Liam was waiting when Caleb arrived at the classroom. He held out a pastry, saying it was a thank you. Caleb didn't take it. Liam insisted it was delicious. Caleb said he didn't eat breakfast. Liam then offered a carton of milk. Caleb repeated that he didn't eat breakfast. Liam, bewildered, asked why, wondering if he didn't get hungry. Caleb didn't answer, just slumped over his desk to sleep. After a moment, Liam quietly placed the milk on the corner of his desk and left. Caleb turned his head slightly, his eyes opening to look at the carton of milk. He couldn't remember when he'd stopped eating breakfast. His mother was usually still asleep or hadn't come home when he left in the morning, and she only gave him money for food when she remembered. So one day he just stopped eating breakfast. He threw the milk into his desk. But from that day on, Liam brought him a carton of milk every morning. One morning, Caleb saw Liam standing at his desk, staring at something written on it with a frown. It was probably more graffiti, bastard, unwanted, the usual. He was used to it. But then he saw Liam angrily wipe the writing away with his bare hands, smearing ink all over them. Liam then ran to the front of the classroom, grabbed the chalkboard eraser, and scrubbed the desk clean before going to wash his hands. Caleb walked to his desk and silently looked at the carton of milk. After a long moment, he picked it up, stuck the straw in, and for the first time drank the milk Liam had given him. It rained often that summer. One afternoon, as Caleb was about to head into another downpour, he felt a tug on his sleeve. Liam was standing behind him, holding his umbrella, saying it was big enough for two. A few minutes later, Caleb was riding his bike with Liam on the back, holding the umbrella over them. He dropped Liam off at his apartment first. Liam gave him the umbrella and told him to wait, saying it was too dangerous to ride and hold an umbrella. He ran upstairs and came back down with a raincoat. It was a semi-transparent material printed with dozens of little yellow ducks. Caleb's expression was one of pure horror. No, Liam didn't understand, insisting he'd get soaked. Caleb said it was childish. Liam argued it was cute. Caleb refused to wear it even if it meant death. They argued until the rain stopped, and Caleb rode away. Liam seemed to lose his fear of Caleb after that. He started pestering him to do his homework, holding out the workbook from before. Caleb, his face buried in his arms, told him to mind his own business. Liam muttered that he didn't want Caleb to get yelled at by the teacher. Caleb lifted his head and looked at him for a long moment before finally taking the workbook and opening it. Liam's face broke into a wide grin. He was about to praise him when he saw Caleb staring at the problems for a moment before writing down the correct answers. Liam was stunned. "You knew how to do it all along?" Caleb admitted it wasn't that hard. Liam couldn't believe it, asking how that was possible when he slept through every class. He pointed to a problem he was stuck on, and Caleb paused. Liam, his confidence restored, pulled up a chair and began to explain the problem to him like a patient tutor. They were sitting by the window, and the light was soft. Caleb found he could see the fine, downy hair on Liam's cheek, glowing in the afternoon sun. When Liam finished, he asked if Caleb understood. Caleb pulled his gaze away and nodded. In the quiet of the empty classroom, Caleb suddenly thought that maybe school wasn't so bad after all. His phone buzzed repeatedly, pulling Caleb from a deep sleep. He realized he'd fallen asleep at his desk. He picked up his phone to see several messages from Liam's roommate, Dylan. "Dude, did you and Liam fight? He got back and kept calling you a liar. Now he's just staring at his phone, pissed off." Attached was a photo, secretly taken from behind Liam. In the picture, Liam was sitting at his desk below his loft bed, staring at his phone. Caleb zoomed in. The screen showed the photo Liam had taken of him on Sunday. Another message buzzed through. This time it was from Liam. "I'm done with you. We're over." Caleb's thumb traced the image on the screen, and a faint smile touched his lips. He replied, "Over? I don't understand. What position is that?" It took Liam a moment to understand the insinuation. His face flushed crimson. "You're disgusting," Caleb typed back, just asking a question. "Is that disgusting now?" Liam didn't believe him for a second. He accused Caleb of being deliberate, and Caleb didn't deny it, telling him not to expose him. Liam, flustered, asked if Caleb had no shame. He shut off his phone, not wanting to talk to him anymore. But in the quiet, Caleb's words from the office echoed in his mind. "Liam, no one holds their brother while they sleep. It's always been you. Only you." Liam's ears burned, and his heart hammered against his ribs. He couldn't seem to control it. The thought of Caleb liking him made his whole body feel strange. He muttered at his own heart, telling it to stop beating so fast. That night, his dreams were a chaotic mess. In one, Caleb was pinning him down, whispering that he liked him, and his heart literally leaped out of his chest, a cartoonish red thing that woke him with a start. In another, Caleb told him it was all a lie, which made him so angry he kicked the end of his bed, startling Dylan in the bunk next to him. The next day, sleep-deprived and groggy, Liam went to class. He had no appetite afterward and asked his roommate to bring him back some food while he went back to the dorm for a nap. As he approached the building, he saw Caleb leaning against a tree, arms crossed, dressed in a simple gray hoodie and sweatpants. He looked up as Liam approached. Liam froze for a second, then continued walking as if he hadn't seen him. Caleb followed. As they passed the security desk, Liam suddenly turned to the guard and said someone was trying to sneak into the dorm. The guard, a burly man named Gus, peered out, giving Caleb a suspicious look. Before Caleb could speak, Liam added that he wasn't a student, that he was a con artist. Gus, wary of solicitors, told Caleb he wasn't allowed to sell things there. Caleb tried to explain, but Gus was already shooing him away, telling him to take his business elsewhere. Liam watched him get escorted away, a small, triumphant smirk on his face, before heading upstairs. But the next day, Caleb was back. This time, he was dressed in a sharp suit, his hair perfectly styled. He and Kevin got out of a sleek black car at the main university gate, causing a small stir among the students. Liam, who was just coming out of the campus store, saw him stride through the crowd like a CEO in a movie. Liam scoffed. So flashy. He waited for the crowd to thin before approaching him, asking what he was doing there again. Caleb, hands in his pockets, asked if he wasn't allowed to be there. Liam, still angry, told him he wouldn't be forgiven and that he should leave. Caleb replied slowly that he'd have to take that up with the university president. Liam was confused, asking what the president had to do with anything. Caleb explained he was there to discuss a donation. Just then, a voice called out, "Mr. Hawthorne." The university president came bustling over, shaking Caleb's hand enthusiastically and welcoming him. Liam watched, stunned, as Caleb was led away like a visiting dignitary. Half an hour later, Liam was summoned to the president's office. He had a bad feeling. Sure enough, The president clapped him on the shoulder, exclaiming what a wonderful coincidence it was that Liam was an old friend of their generous benefactor, Mr. Hawthorne. He then assigned Liam the task of giving Caleb a tour of the campus. Liam tried to get out of it, claiming he had laundry to do. The president frowned, asking if laundry was more important than Mr. Hawthorne. He offered to have Liam's faculty advisor do it for him. Liam fell silent. Kevin stayed behind to discuss the details of the donation while Caleb and Liam walked along the path by the campus lake. Liam couldn't help but ask how much he'd donated. Caleb ignored the question and asked when he was coming home. Liam stopped walking and looked up at him, saying stubbornly that he wasn't coming back. Caleb then threatened to donate all of Liam's money. 2. The threat hit its mark. Liam had forgotten his bank cards were still with Caleb. He demanded them back. Caleb said he didn't have them. Liam insisted he go get them. Caleb, unhurried, said he would, if Liam came back with him. Liam refused, his jaw set. He started to say they were over, but then remembered Caleb's earlier provocative response. He changed tactics. "I don't want to be friends with you anymore," he declared. "Then what do you want to be?" Caleb asked, his gaze intense. "My husband?" Liam's mouth fell open. He couldn't believe Caleb's audacity, how he'd suddenly become so shameless. He stammered that Caleb wasn't like this before. Caleb moved closer, his voice low. "Before, I was afraid of scaring you away." He held Liam's gaze. "Now that you know, are you gonna run?" Liam's heart skipped a beat. He looked away, flustered, saying he just wanted his bank cards back. Caleb agreed, but only if Liam met 2 conditions. The first, he said, was to let him see his phone. Confused, Liam unlocked his phone and handed it over. Caleb opened the photo gallery. The first picture was the one Liam had taken of him on Sunday. As he scrolled, he saw that every few photos, there was one of him. Sleeping in the morning, working at his desk, looking out the car window on a video call. His voice was a little rough when he asked why Liam still had photos of him if they were over. Liam, mortified, tried to snatch the phone back, saying he would delete them right now. "Don't," Caleb said, catching his wrist. His grip was firm. "That's the second condition." On the way to the university, Caleb had looked out the window, feeling like he couldn't hold on to anything. He had told himself that if Liam truly hated him, he would let him go. But if there was even a shred of affection left, he would fight. Liam noticed the strange intensity in Caleb's eyes and asked what was wrong. Caleb said it was nothing, just that Liam could look at the photos whenever he missed him. Liam scoffed, claiming he'd miss Mrs. Chun or Kevin but never Caleb. Caleb replied that missing them wouldn't do any good. Liam was exasperated. "And missing you would?" "Yes," Caleb said seriously. "I'll come see you." Liam's face grew warm. He pulled his hand free, saying there was no need, just bring the bank cards. Caleb, unperturbed, said he'd bring them tomorrow. Liam groaned. "You're coming back tomorrow?" Caleb confirmed that the president had given him an open invitation to audit any class he wished. Meanwhile, across town, Caleb's cousin, Ethan, was crouched behind a planter outside a rival corporation's building. His bodyguard advised him to go home, but Ethan refused, determined to land a contract Caleb had assigned him. He grumbled about how their families were sworn enemies. Getting this deal was impossible. He'd been beaten up and thrown out multiple times already. As he watched, a thin man in glasses walked out of the building, looking dejected. Ethan commented on how the rival company overworked their employees. Caleb showed up on campus until evening, then joined Liam for dinner in the dining hall. Afterward, he offered Liam a ride to his part-time job at a bar called the Velvet Curtain. Liam refused, saying he'd take the subway, but Kevin intercepted him at the campus gate, blocking his path like a statue. Liam tried to go around him, but Kevin mirrored his every move. Caleb came up behind them, pointing out that he would be late if he kept stalling. Liam, annoyed, said he preferred the subway. Caleb countered that the subway was crowded and he might get hurt. Liam was about to argue when he saw a familiar figure nearby. It was his professor, Mr. Yates, being cornered by the bar owner, a man named Hector. Mr. Yates managed to break free and hurried away. Hector, frustrated, turned and saw Caleb and Liam. He immediately walked over and asked for a ride. Caleb coolly blocked him, saying his employee preferred the subway. Hector then turned to Liam with a pleading look, whining that if Liam took the subway, he'd be late and he'd have to dock his pay. In the end, Liam sat in the front passenger seat, refusing to share the back with Caleb and Hector. Hector spent the entire ride complaining to Caleb about how Mr. Yates always ran away from him. Caleb, watching Liam in the rearview mirror, casually suggested Hector should just lock him up somewhere. Hector's eyes lit up at the idea. Mr. Yates was walking home, the streetlights casting long shadows. He was tired but didn't feel like calling a car. As he rounded a corner, a black car pulled up beside him. A door flew open, someone threw a bag over his head, and he was hauled inside before he could even scream. When he woke up, he was on a sofa in an unfamiliar room. Hector was sitting in a chair opposite him, the bright light making his features look sharp and intimidating. Hector told him they needed to talk. Mr. Yates, his heart pounding, asked what there was to talk about. Hector grinned. About us dating. Mr. Yates stared at him, bewildered, and asked what he meant. Hector leaned in, his voice serious. Mr. Yates, date me. After a long silence, Mr. Yates looked away and told him not to joke. Hector insisted he was serious, that he felt responsible for what happened that night. He'd had too much to drink. Mr. Yates quietly said there was no need for him to take responsibility. They were both adults. He tried to leave, but Hector grabbed his arm, demanding to know what he meant by no need. He refused to let go, saying he had to take responsibility. Mr. Yates, trying to free himself, said he had to go, that he had class tomorrow. Hector called his bluff, saying he'd checked his schedule. He had no classes until Monday. Flustered, Mr. Yates insisted he had to leave. Hector suddenly reached up and took off his glasses. You look better without them, he said with a grin. When Liam finished his shift at the Velvet Curtain, he found Caleb waiting for him by the entrance, hands in his pockets. It was just like the first night he'd worked there. So much had changed, and yet nothing had. He walked over and asked why Caleb was still there. Caleb said he was waiting for him. Liam told him he didn't need him to. Caleb replied that he'd been reading up on a guide that said you should walk the person you like home. The word like made Liam's heart stutter. He stammered, asking what kind of ridiculous guide he was reading. A dating guide, Caleb said. Liam was even more flustered, denying that they were dating and telling him to stop reading such things. Then how am I supposed to pursue you? Caleb asked, leaning in close, his voice a low whisper by Liam's ear. You'll have to teach me. Liam's ears felt like they were on fire. He shoved Caleb away and declared he was going back to school. Caleb called after him that the subways had stopped running for the night. Liam, gritting his teeth, said he'd take a cab. Caleb pointed out that it would be expensive, then gestured to his car, where Kevin was waiting patiently. 5 minutes later, Liam was sitting stiffly in the passenger seat. Caleb, in the back, suddenly told Kevin to drive to his house. No, Liam immediately protested. "I'm going back to the dorm." Caleb mentioned that Mrs. Chen missed him. Liam hesitated, then said he'd visit her when Caleb wasn't home. Caleb countered that he would instruct her not to cook for him then. Liam called him a monster. The next day, Caleb, dressed casually, was sitting in the seat next to Liam in class. Dylan had happily given up the spot. Liam hissed at his roommate for being a traitor. Caleb sat down, and Liam immediately held out his hand. Bank cards. Caleb produced them from his pocket, and Liam quickly stashed them in his backpack. Caleb watched him, a small smile playing on his lips, and pointed out that Liam could have just reported them lost and gotten new ones. Liam, who hadn't thought of that, huffed that he couldn't be bothered. Caleb hummed in agreement, still watching him. Liam felt increasingly uncomfortable and asked if Caleb didn't have a company to run. Caleb nodded, saying it was on the verge of bankruptcy. Liam was shocked, asking how that could happen. "Because you're ignoring me," Caleb said simply. Liam retorted that it wasn't his company. Caleb replied that it could be. When Liam refused, Caleb added that his father would be out of a job. Liam said his dad could find another job, even if it was collecting cans. "What if I'm unemployed?" Caleb asked. Liam faltered, then said Caleb had hands and feet, too. "So I should collect cans?" Caleb pressed. Liam said that wouldn't be necessary. Caleb asked what he should do then. Liam's mind, for some reason, flashed back to Caleb's earlier comment about being his husband. Flustered, he blurted out, "Anything but a husband." Caleb paused, then leaned closer, his voice a low murmur. "Then what about a wife?" For the rest of the lecture, all Liam could hear was the word wife buzzing in his ears. He shot Caleb a furious glare, but Caleb simply took his pen and wrote in his notebook, "Pay attention." Liam angrily scribbled jerk in large letters across the page. Caleb, unfazed, mouthed something at him. Liam, despite himself, understood. "Your handwriting is cute." His face grew warm again, and he tore out the page, determined to focus on the lecture. The sun streamed through the window. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw Caleb lean his head on his arms and close his eyes, just like he used to in high school. He remembered how scared he'd been the first time he'd approached him, but also how Caleb had taken care of him after he fell in the rain. He'd known then that Caleb, despite his tough exterior, was a good person, and good people didn't deserve to be yelled at by teachers. That's when he started pestering him about homework, staying late with him every day. He felt they had become good friends. The bike hit a stone, jolting them. Liam, on the back, instinctively wrapped his arms around Caleb's waist, his face pressed against his back. The bike swerved, and Liam squeezed his eyes shut, holding on tighter. When Caleb dropped him off at his apartment, he left without a word. That night, Liam's home was filled with the smell of cooking and the sound of his parents' gentle laughter. His mother was still healthy, his father not yet obsessed with money. The next day, he was helping Caleb with homework in the empty classroom. As he leaned in to look at Caleb's work, their heads close together, Caleb suddenly pulled back. Liam asked what was wrong. Caleb looked away, saying he didn't want Liam to bump his head. Liam touched his own head, saying it wasn't that hard. Caleb didn't believe him. He stood up, grabbed his backpack, and said he was done. Liam scrambled to pack his own bag, following him out and protesting that he wasn't finished. At the bike rack, Caleb said, without turning around, that he wouldn't be staying after school anymore. Confused, Liam asked why. Caleb didn't answer, just got on his bike and rode away, leaving Liam standing there, bewildered and angry. For days, Caleb left as soon as school was out. Liam couldn't catch him. Finally, he cornered him in a stairwell, demanding to know why he wasn't waiting for him after school. Caleb, slinging his backpack over his shoulder, asked why he should. Liam stammered that they had to do homework. Caleb said he wasn't doing it. "You have to," Liam insisted. Caleb's voice was cold. "Why do you get to tell me what to do?" He pushed past Liam and went down the stairs, leaving Liam feeling hollow. A few days later, walking home in the rain, he heard shouting from a nearby alley. He saw a group of boys fighting. A familiar bicycle lay on its side. It was Caleb. Liam ran toward them, shouting for them to stop. They ignored him. Liam, unable to fight, could only circle them anxiously until he yelled that he had called the police. That dispersed the group. Caleb was soaked, his lip bleeding. He sat on the ground, wiping the rain from his face. Liam rushed to his side, shielding him with his umbrella and scolding the departed bullies. He told Caleb to come to his house to change. Caleb stood up and started walking in the opposite direction. Liam, frustrated, ran to block his path, grabbed his arm and said firmly, "You're coming home with me." At his house, Liam's mother was shocked to see them so wet. Liam made up a story about their umbrella blowing away. She bustled them into the bathroom to get warm. Caleb, wearing Liam's slightly too small pajamas, sat on Liam's bed, taking in the simple room. When Liam came out, he saw Caleb's hair was still wet and started rubbing it dry with a towel. As he did, he said, "Caleb, you need to apologize to me." After a moment of silence, Caleb leaned forward and rested his head against Liam's stomach, his arms wrapping around his waist. "I'm sorry," he whispered. Liam hummed, accepting the apology, then remembered their homework and bossily directed the still damp Caleb to his desk to finish his assignments while he continued to dry his hair. It was quiet in the room, save for the soft patter of rain against the window. In the middle of the night, Liam was woken by Caleb's soft voice. "Today is my birthday." Liam shot up in bed. He was about to go buy a cake, but Caleb stopped him, pointing to the clock. It was almost midnight. He just asked Liam to wish him a happy birthday. So Liam, sitting in the dark, sang happy birthday to him. It was the first time anyone ever had. Back in the university classroom, Liam blinked, pulled from his memories. He suddenly realized tomorrow was Caleb's birthday. For the past 2 years, they had celebrated together. But this year, he glanced at Caleb, asleep at the desk beside him. No, he wouldn't celebrate with a liar. He texted Kevin, asking if he was celebrating with Caleb. Kevin replied that he was just an employee. Liam, disappointed in the lack of loyalty, decided to ask Hector at the bar. But Hector wasn't there that night, and Professor Yates was also absent. He ended up asking Sam, who declared that anyone who made her angry didn't deserve a birthday cake. She'd smash it on their head. But Liam admitted it felt a little sad if no one celebrated with him. In a flash of inspiration, he called his dad. So, on Saturday, Liam's father showed up at Caleb's house with a cake and sang a stilted happy birthday. He took 2 bites and complained it was too sweet, then remembered himself and quickly said it was Liam's choice, not his. Realizing his slip-up, he made a hasty exit. Caleb took a picture of the cake and sent it to Liam with the caption, "No one to eat cake with me." Liam replied that his dad was there. Caleb said he'd left. Liam suggested Mrs. Chin. Caleb said she was gone too. Then Kevin. Caleb's final text was, "I want you to eat it with me." Liam stared at the message, then climbed out of bed, threw on a jacket, and caught a cab. He found Caleb waiting for him outside his villa. Liam looked away, saying defensively that he wasn't not angry anymore. He was just here because it was his birthday. Caleb hummed in agreement, took his hand, and led him inside. He cut Liam a large slice of cake. Liam took a bite and couldn't help but say proudly that he knew this one would be good. Caleb chuckled softly. Liam, feeling exposed, quickly added that his dad had picked it out. Caleb didn't argue. He just watched him, then reached out and gently wiped a smudge of frosting from the corner of Liam's mouth, remarking that he'd gotten some on himself. Without thinking, Liam's tongue darted out to lick the spot, meeting the soft pad of Caleb's finger. Caleb froze, his dark eyes fixed on Liam. His Adam's apple bobbed. "Can I make a birthday wish?" he asked, his voice low. Liam, mesmerized, asked what it was. Caleb leaned closer, the sweet scent of frosting hanging in the air between them. "I want to kiss the person I like." The words hit Liam like a drumbeat, sending his heart into overdrive. His mind went blank as Caleb leaned in, licking the frosting from his lips. "As a birthday present," he murmured, his voice a husky whisper. Then he captured Liam's mouth with his own. A firework exploded in Liam's brain. The kiss deepened, tender than demanding, their breaths mingling. Liam's body went limp against the sofa, his hands clutching Caleb's shirt. The sweet taste of frosting melted between them. He was running out of air. He struggled slightly, and Caleb pulled back just enough for him to breathe, his eyes red-rimmed and hazy. Before he could say anything, Caleb kissed him again, more fiercely this time, one hand cradling his face, leaving no room for escape. Liam's head spun until a hand slipped under his shirt, its cool touch on his waist shocking him back to reality. He shoved Caleb away, scrambled off the sofa, and ran out of the house, his face burning. Back in his dorm, he buried himself under his covers. Dylan, seeing the lump in the bed writhing, asked if he was okay. Liam mumbled a denial. Curious, Dylan yanked the covers off, revealing Liam's face, red as a tomato. He asked if he had a fever. Another roommate, Mark, came over and noted that his lips were swollen, too. Dylan gasped, accusing him of having a secret romance. Liam denied it, claiming he'd fallen. Unconvinced, they eventually left him alone. Under the covers, his phone buzzed. It was Caleb. "Does your mouth hurt from falling?" Liam typed back furiously, "Don't talk about it." Caleb replied that Liam was the one who had kissed him back. Liam argued that he hadn't agreed to it. Caleb's response was that his wish was therefore invalid, so he'd have to make another one. Liam nearly threw his phone. He accused Caleb of being shameless. Caleb didn't deny it. "I'm happy," he texted. "My birthday wish came true. I kissed the person I like." Liam groaned and buried his face in his pillow, certain he wouldn't sleep that night. He was wrong. He slept until 10 the next morning. When he woke up, there was a message from Caleb, sent around 7 a.m. "Let me know when you're awake." He groggily replied, "Why?" The answer came back quickly. "Bringing breakfast to the person I like." Liam, flustered, typed back, "Don't." Caleb's next message was a threat to show up downstairs with 99 roses and a candlelit confession. Half an hour later, Liam was eating breakfast in a secluded corner of the dorm courtyard. Caleb watched him, then handed him a carton of milk with the straw already in place. Liam, still awkward from the previous day's kiss, asked why he was suddenly bringing him breakfast. Caleb reached out and brushed a crumb from his lip, the gesture too similar to the frosting incident. Liam flinched away. Caleb explained calmly that this was how one pursued someone. Liam muttered that he wouldn't know, he'd never pursued anyone. Caleb leaned on the table, saying it was only his second time. Second? The word came out sharper than Liam intended. Caleb nodded. The first time was in high school. Liam shot to his feet, indignant. You dated in high school? Caleb said he hadn't. Liam, confused, said Caleb himself had just said he failed. You said you had to focus on getting into college, Caleb said, looking up at him. Liam was lost. What does my getting into college have to do with you dating someone? Caleb held his gaze. Liam, he said, taking his hand. You got into college. You don't have to worry about dating distracting you anymore. We can date now. In high school, Caleb hadn't understood what he was feeling. He tried to distance himself from Liam, but one rainy day, all his defenses had crumbled. But Liam had been adamant about not dating, afraid it would ruin his chances at college. Caleb had decided he could wait. He never imagined he would have to leave so suddenly. He started bringing Liam breakfast every morning, claiming he'd bought too much. Liam, oblivious, would thank him and offer to share. One day, Liam gave him a birthday present, 2 brand new workbooks. Caleb had accepted them with a quiet thank you. That weekend, they went to the library together. Felt like a date, even though they just read books. For lunch, they went to a burger joint. Liam saw Caleb talking to the manager, who was shaking her head. He asked what was wrong. Caleb said he'd been trying to get a part-time job, but they wouldn't hire him because he was underage. Liam was concerned, asking if he was short on money, offering his own allowance. Caleb assured him it was fine, he just wanted to save up. Liam worried it would affect his studies, but Caleb was determined. He found odd jobs, and on weekends he worked at the library, which meant he could spend all day with Liam. On New Year's Eve, his mother had a breakdown, screaming about his father and smashing a window. Caleb left, riding his bike aimlessly through the cold, empty streets. A familiar voice called his name. It was Liam, bundled up like a little bear, pointing excitedly at the fireworks exploding in the night sky. He grabbed Caleb's frozen hands. Caleb, look, Happy New Year. The brilliant colors reflected in his eyes. Caleb's numb lips formed the words, Happy New Year. Liam's warm hands felt like the first day of spring. Waking from a nap in his dorm room, Liam slowly remembered what he had agreed to that morning. Caleb had said he could date now, and Liam, his brain fuzzy from the sweet breakfast, found himself unable to say no. He'd only managed to say that Caleb hadn't apologized yet. Caleb's gaze had been steady. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have lied to you, he'd said. Will you forgive me? Liam had mumbled that he needed to think about it and told him not to rush him. Caleb had agreed, on the condition that Liam not avoid him while he was thinking. They had to see each other every day. Video calls were also acceptable. That night, Liam was about to video call Caleb when he remembered a forum post he'd read about recognizing love. You miss them when they're not there, and you're happy when they are. He frowned. Why did he feel a little happy about calling Caleb? No, he shook his head, he didn't miss him at all. He put his phone down. His roommate Dylan, seeing him lie down, asked if he was going to sleep. Liam, not tired, sat up, thinking Dylan wanted to play a game. But Dylan just awkwardly said he had homework to do and scurried away. Liam's phone buzzed. It was Caleb asking why he hadn't called. Liam lied, saying his roommates were asleep. Caleb's reply was a simple, "Oh?" as if he knew. Liam stuck to his story. Caleb didn't press, just said he'd have to make it up tomorrow. Liam protested, but Caleb insisted, then told him to say goodnight. Liam complied. The word goodnight on his screen seemed to carry the warmth of Caleb's voice. He felt his ears getting hot again. It seemed to happen whenever Caleb was near. He tried to stay calm, but Caleb held him to his promise of seeing each other every day. He always knew where to find him, the library, the study hall, outside his classroom. One evening, the air was cool, and Caleb was waiting for him, wrapped in the chill of the coming night. On impulse, Liam ran and threw his arms around him. Caleb stiffened for a moment, then hugged him back. When Liam pulled away, flustered, he claimed he was just cold. Caleb tightened his embrace, murmuring, "Then let's stay warm a little longer." Later that night, Liam returned to his dorm to find Dylan looking triumphant. He'd been invited to a hot pot party in the next room and offered to bring Liam back some beef balls. As Dylan ran out, he left his phone on his desk, unlocked. A notification popped up, a payment from Caleb. Liam glanced at the screen and froze. It was a chat history between Dylan and Caleb. Dylan's messages were simple reports of Liam's whereabouts. He's at the library. He's in study hall. He's in building C. He's not asleep yet. When Dylan returned with a bowl of food, he found Liam staring at his phone. He stammered an explanation, but Liam just looked at him, his face expressionless, and asked why he was telling Caleb everything. Dylan confessed that Caleb had paid him, saying he was worried about Liam and wanted to know he was okay at school. "So you took his money to spy on me?" Liam's voice was dangerously quiet. Dylan tried to defend himself, saying it wasn't spying, just keeping him updated. "Why does he get to know everything about my life?" Liam's voice rose. "Does he tell me everything about his?" He pushed past his speechless roommate and walked out of the dorm. He felt a sharp sting in his nose. So that's how Caleb always knew where he was. Even his best friend was in on the lie. He went to the athletic field and called Caleb. When Caleb answered, Liam's voice was thick with hurt and anger. "Do liars ever stop lying?" he asked. Before Caleb could respond, he choked out, "I hate you," and hung up. Caleb stood up from his desk and told Kevin they were going back to the university. Liam ran, trying to escape the noise and his own thoughts. He ended up at a deserted academic building, where he was blocked by Leo, the same class president from freshman year. Leo's expression was dark. He sneered, asking Liam if he still didn't like men. Liam, in no mood for this, told him to get out of his way. Leo looked him up and down with contempt. "What about Caleb? Is he not a man?" Liam, his anger at Caleb still raw, snapped that he hated him. "I saw you," Leo spat, his voice laced with jealousy. "I saw you hugging him outside the lecture hall." Liam remembered the moment and told him it was none of his business. Leo laughed, a bitter, ugly sound. "Of course. I don't have a fancy car like him. You'd never look at me." He had seen Liam get into Caleb's car many times, sometimes not returning until the next morning. "I can't believe you're a prostitute," he sneered. The word struck Liam like a physical blow. "What did you say?" he whispered. Leo's voice was dripping with scorn. "Am I wrong? Don't act so pure. I wonder if you act this innocent in his bed." A fist flew, connecting with Leo's jaw. "You're sick?" Liam seethed, consumed by a white-hot rage. They started fighting, a messy scuffle that drew a crowd. Liam, desperate to escape the prying eyes, shoved Leo one last time and ran out of the campus gates. The street was dark. As he walked, a man reeking of alcohol stumbled toward him, a lewd grin on his face, offering to keep him company. Liam ignored him and walked faster, but the man followed, grabbing his wrist. The overpowering smell of cheap liquor made Liam's stomach turn. The man's words were slurred but vile. "Come on, pretty boy, I know you like men. A face like that is made for it." The words, so similar to Leo's, echoed in his head. The man leaned in, his hot, foul breath washing over Liam's face. A wave of nausea rose in him. He kicked and struggled, screaming for him to get away. Just as the man was about to force a kiss on him, he was violently yanked back. A fist slammed into his face and he went down hard. It was Kevin. Caleb's face was terrifyingly grim. He looked over at Liam, who was huddled by a tree, clothes and hair disheveled, trembling. A pain so sharp it felt like his insides were being crushed seized Caleb. He knelt, his voice barely a whisper, afraid of startling him. "Liam, it's okay. You're safe." He reached out, but Liam flinched back and began to retch, though nothing came up. The voices of Leo and the drunk swirled in his mind. "Prostitute. Likes men. Made for it. I don't like men." He screamed, his voice breaking into a sob. "You're all disgusting." Caleb froze, his hand suspended in midair. It felt as if something had been brutally carved out of his chest. Anyone in the world could hate him, but not Liam. He opened his mouth, but no words came out. The next day, a bruised and swollen Leo found Liam between classes. "I'm sorry," he mumbled. The words pained. "I was a jerk yesterday. I shouldn't have said those things." Liam just stared at his face and asked, "Did I do that? Am I that strong?" Leo shook his head. Liam walked away without another word. From around a corner, Caleb watched him go. He took out his phone and typed a message. "Can we meet?" There was no reply. He tried again. "Then can you meet with Kevin? He has something for you." This time, Liam agreed. At the campus gate, Kevin handed him a file folder. Inside were all 3 copies of the agreement he had signed. Kevin explained that Caleb had said Liam could do whatever he wanted with them. Tear them up, burn them. He no longer owed Caleb any money. Liam was confused, saying he still owed him over $600,000. Kevin stated that Caleb had never intended for him to pay it back. Liam pushed the folder back into his hands. "I don't care," he said, his voice firm. "I don't like being indebted to anyone." Kevin suddenly put on a disposable face mask. Liam asked why. Kevin explained that the next line was a bit embarrassing. Then, in a monotone voice, he recited, "Mr. Hawthorne says he never wanted the money. He only ever wanted you." Liam's cheeks burned. "I told you I don't like men," he insisted, the memory of the previous night making him feel sick all over again. Kevin took out a small notepad. "Right. So Mr. Hawthorne cannot be a man. Got it." Liam stared at him, speechless, then shoved the folder at him again and walked away. 2 days later, Kevin was back. "Mr. Hawthorne has a fever." Liam's heart clenched. He started to reach for his phone, then stopped himself. Then he should see a doctor. Kevin reported that Caleb refused to go. He also wouldn't let his private doctor come to the house. When Kevin asked why, Caleb had said he might as well just burn up and die. "Then let him." Liam snapped. "What's it to me?" 5 minutes later, he was in the car, fuming. When he saw Caleb, pale and shivering under a pile of blankets, all his anger evaporated. He touched Caleb's forehead. It was burning. "Are you an idiot? You're this sick and you won't see a doctor?" Caleb grabbed his hand, his eyes barely open. "No," he rasped. "You'll leave if the doctor comes." Liam tried to pull his hand away, but Caleb's grip was surprisingly strong. After a moment, he stopped struggling. Caleb's voice was low and weak. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "Liam, don't hate me." While the doctor put Caleb on an 4-drip, Mrs. Chun happily served Liam a platter of lobster. Liam sat by Caleb's bed, devouring the sweet meat and taunting him. Caleb watched him, his lips dry and cracked, and hummed in agreement. Liam, feeling a pang of guilt, muttered that Caleb could have some when he was better. "I won't be able to," Caleb said. Liam asked why if Mrs. Chun wouldn't buy it for him. Caleb didn't answer. Annoyed, Liam pressed him, saying it wasn't his fault the doctor said he couldn't eat lobster. Caleb said it wasn't about the lobster. Then what is it you want to eat? Liam demanded. My mouth? Caleb fell silent. Liam, frustrated by this new secret, stood up and announced he was going back to school. At the door, Mrs. Chun stopped him, worried about who would make Caleb take his medicine. Just then, Kevin walked in, finishing a call. He looked at Liam and said, Mr. Hawthorne wants to know where he should be buried, and if it's expensive. Liam stormed back upstairs. Caleb Hawthorne, are you crazy? He yelled. You have a fever, not a terminal illness.